is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are the Fourth. We are the Lions.
The Tribe took 2 out of 3 in Tampa thanks to scintillating starting pitching. That will again be the key here tonight as the Indians play host to the defending National League champion New York Mets. We will see generations collide as 42-year-old former Indian Bartolo Colon faces 25-year-old Cody Anderson as we celebrate Jackie Robinson Day next on Sports Time Ohio. After a week on the road, the Indians return home to Progressive Field, where tonight, across Major League Baseball, we celebrate Jackie Robinson Day as the Indians will play host to the New York Mets. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. It was 69 years ago today that Jackie Robinson broke through baseball's color barrier, appearing in a Major League Baseball game for the then Brooklyn Dodgers. And, of course, Jackie Robinson meant so much to the game of baseball. This is some of his accomplishments on the field. We know he did much more for the game off the field.
Yeah, you're right. Those numbers are very good to look at on the baseball sense, but they pale in comparison to the game of life that he had to play, and that was breaking that color barrier back in 1947. And it seems like every April 15th, his day gets bigger and bigger and bigger, like it should.
And a big day tonight for the Cleveland Indians as they welcome in the National League champion New York Mets, a team that is built on pitching. So these two teams are almost looking in the mirror at each other, aren't they?
Well, they really are. The Mets aren't swinging the bats very well, and Cody Anderson coming off a start in Chicago where he matched Chris Sale pitch for 6 innings. He only gave up the 2 runs. The Indians ended up taking the lead, and they came back on the bullpen for the Indians. So he's going to get his second start to go with that good fastball, a changeup, and Cody in his 16 career starts, 7-3 and an ERA just over 3. But who can forget Bartolo Colon? His first year, 1997 with the Indians. He's 6-3 in his career against the Indians. He's a one-pitch pitcher right now, a fastball. But it's a moving fastball. He can start it at the hip of the left-handed hitters, bring it over the inside corner. In other words, just cut that plate in half and guess. Is he going to pitch inside? Is he going to pitch outside? We'll see tonight. But Bartolo coming back, and he's one of the, being from the Dominican, as many wins as Juan Marichal. He's going to get passing him soon.
Think about this. Cody Anderson was 7 years old when Bartolo Colon made his Major League debut for the Cleveland Indians back in 1997. We'll be back with tonight's first pitch coming up. When we return, we'll go down to the field and check in with Andre Knott. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by W.B. Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by your local Toyota dealers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. A beautiful night for baseball here at Progressive Field. Lots of blue skies overhead. Temperature not too bad. Going to be close to 60 degrees, I think, when it's all said and done. Indians are just about ready to take the field behind Cody Anderson. Let's go down to Andre Knott, who has more on tonight's pitching matchup.
Well, the pitching matchup is a great one as you talk about the differences in ages. But really for Jackie Robinson Day, for the players within the clubhouse for the Cleveland Indians, they see this as another holiday for baseball. But they talk about mostly that what's important to them is that this isn't just a holiday and this isn't a day that Major League Baseball celebrates, but they never want America or Major League Baseball to just be happy with just celebrating Jackie Robinson on one single day.
What he had to go through, what he endured. I mean, we really probably don't even know the half of what he really endured. I think it's amazing how an individual can go through such crisis and come out victorious on top. I mean, it's like he was supernatural.
Gosh, I think everything they went through aged him so quickly. You know, you see the pictures when he started playing, the pictures at the end of his career and the gray hair, and you know how you can tell it took a toll on him. But if you can't appreciate what he went through, you know, or, you know, the building blocks that he's laid down for any African-American or minority player in baseball, then if you can't appreciate that, then something's wrong with you.
Made me think about Larry Doby. And I hope the league will allow us at some point maybe to wear his 14 sometime, because what was he, 2 months behind Jackie? I'm sure the taunts and the life was not, you know, because he was 2 months behind. You know, I'm sure what he had to endure was incredible also. So I just hope we're recognizing, you know, the right things. You know, it's not something that I think we necessarily need to be that proud about, that you treat somebody equal.
I mean, guys, we talked yesterday about the importance of Larry Doby, and I think it was nice that Terry Francona mentioned that as well, that number 14 should be just as important as number 42.
I totally agree, Andre, especially for this franchise. You know, 2 months behind Larry Doby. I happen to know him. He was a wonderful person, a wonderful man, and I guarantee he went through the exact same things that Jackie Robinson did back in the day.
And some very poignant comments from both Marlon Byrd and Rajay Davis as we celebrate Jackie Robinson. And we should also celebrate Larry Doby and all of those here today. All right, let's take a look at the New York Mets starting lineup for Terry Collins. Here tonight, Curtis Granderson will lead it off. David Wright batting in the 2-hole. Michael Conforto will bat third. Yoenis Cespedes in the cleanup spot. Lucas Duda batting 5th. Neil Walker is 6th. Asdrubal Cabrera, Travis d'Arnaud, Alejandro De Aza batting 9th.
And tonight's Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher is Cody Anderson for the Tribe. He is making his second start, his very first start against the Mets and against the National League East team. In his last start in Chicago, he went 6 innings. He gave up 6 hits, a couple of runs, gave up the home run. He walked 2 and struck out 2. He left with the game tied at 2, so he had a no decision. But he matched Chris Sale in that outing, pitch for pitch. And it was a very good start for him. So hopefully he can just build upon that. And the second time out, he'll be making his first start at home. And in his career, he's 4-1 in this ballpark. So we'll see what he has to offer for the Mets, who haven't been swinging the bats all that well to this point. Let's check out the Indians defense, brought to you by Jeep. Behind Anderson tonight, it'll be Davis in left, Naquin again in center, Bird over and right. Uribe and Lindor on the left side, Kipnis and Napoli on the right side, with Gomes doing the catching.
Dale Scott, the crew chief, has the plate tonight. Dan Isanya is at first base. Bob Davidson at second, and Lance Barrett will be at third. Cody Anderson is ready to go, and so are we, as the New York Mets and the Cleveland Indians square off. Interleague play still provides some rare meetings, and this is one of them. Since interleague play began, only 12 games have been played between the Mets and the Indians. Cody Anderson delivers high, ball 1. Mets have won 8 out of 12 overall, but the last time they met here in Cleveland, the Indians won 2 out of 3, and that was 3 years ago. Curtis Granderson takes a strike. Of course, we remember Granderson for many years as a member of the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah, watched him grow up in Detroit before he went to the Yankees and then moved to the Mets.
Pulls it foul up the first baseline.
Off to a slow start this year for Granderson. You know, they're in the same boat. You know, they won it all last year, went to the World Series, got beat by Kansas City, and you know, teams expect you, or fans I should say, to come out of the gate and you don't have a chance to stumble. They want to see you starting out and winning ball games. Granderson just 3 for 31 on the year.
Swing the foul back in and out of the glove of Gomes.
Anderson comes back with a good fastball, and all of a sudden it just pops out of the glove of Yan Gomes.
Now the 1-2. Down low with it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Granderson, you know, during his time with the Tigers, and then of course when he moved over to the New York Yankees, I mean, he's such a great personality, positive. Strike 3 call. Anderson able to paint one on the inside corner, and Granderson is rung up for out number 1.
Boy, a perfect pitch here. You want to take a look at that on our Nissan pitch tracker. 95 on the inside edge. Beautiful location. At best, if you're a hitter, you want to try and foul it off, but he locked up Granderson. A very good pitch.
I mean, those who have been around Granderson a lot, he's one of those kind of guys, I guess, to wrap it up. You wonder if he's ever had a bad day.
Yeah.
He just has that kind of personality. He's always up, always positive, upbeat. That'll be a terrific teammate.
Yes, no question.
Here's David Wright, the Mets' third baseman. Off to a pretty good start, hitting .280.
This is the guy I think Mets fans are worried about because of his back. He had back issues last year. And
slugs this one down the right field line, slicing near the pole and out of play foul.
You know, they're a little skeptical about how many games they're going to get from David. If they can get 130 from him this year, they'll be thrilled and he can produce. If not, and they have to fill in for him, they could be in trouble. But boy, he's been a good player for so long. Not only a good offensive player, but a great defensive player as well.
Now the 1-1. Line right at Lindor. 2 down. He hit it hard right on the nose, but right at the Indian shortstop. Literally never moved his feet.
Well, you can see he caught it like a catcher because that ball was hit so hard it had topspin to it, and that ball was going down towards the ground.
That'll bring up Michael Conforto. Conforto taking, it's a called strike.
Promising young hitter, first time he's been in the number 3 hole. Another young guy that they don't want to put too much pressure on by hitting him in that 3 spot, but he's there tonight.
Oh, he slugs this one to deep center. Back is Naquin. He's out of room, and goodbye. Oh, Michael Conforto with his first home run of the year slugged it to dead center, right over the 400-foot mark. And the Mets take a 1-0 lead.
That goes to show you the strength of this young man. I mean, he has got a lot of upside to him, and he hit that ball. I mean, it cleared center field easily in a hurry, and that ball down and away. He stayed on it to use the big part of the ballpark. Look how strong he is. Watch Naquin go back, and not even a chance. That's out of his sight. So the Mets will play from in front. Just the 3rd home run for the Mets this year.
Conforto hit 9 home runs last year in 56 games for the Mets. Yoenis Cespedes serving as the DH tonight. Cespedes has always swung the bat well against the Indians. Remember early in his career with Oakland and then, of course, with Detroit, he has an 8-game hitting streak against the Tribe that dates back to his days with the Tigers.
He's DHing today because they had yesterday off in the last game in that Marlins series. He ended up going into the seats trying to make a catch and banged himself up a little bit, so gets the luxury to DH tonight.
Now the 1-2 offering. In the air to shallow center field. Naquin, a long run in, Dice can't get it. Kipnis was going out, Naquin was coming in. And it drops for a 2-out bloop single.
Well, that's a thing right there. They want Naquin to play a little bit deeper, but when you get fooled off the bat of a guy like Cespedes when he takes the big swing, can you really come in all that way? Did you see how much ground he had to cover for a full swing and just never got there? So it's going to fall for a base hit. I mean, he was full out on a sprint. You just have to wait a second when those big guys swing the bat and you see it's off the end. And the wind is blowing in tonight, so you know you might be able to cheat a couple of steps in.
Well, it's going to give Lucas Duda a chance to bat now with a runner aboard. He swings and fouls one back. Boy, the Mets have not been shy coming out swinging the bats tonight.
You see where Naquin is, and he couldn't get off to that good start or the good jump because of the swing of the bat. The big swing, it fools you when the ball goes off the end and a power hitter takes a big cut like that. You have to freeze for a little bit. I'm thinking maybe a little bit too deep.
Duda dances out of the way. Coming off a year in which he had a career high 33 doubles. And a hard hit ground ball with Lindor on the right side of the infield. He throws him out to end the inning. But Michael Conforto puts the New York Mets on top with a solo shot. The Indians are coming to bat. Terry Francona brought to you by Progressive. Rajay Davis will lead it off. Jason Kipnis batting second. Then it's Francisco Lindor. Mike Napoli hitting cleanup. Carlos Santana will DH in bat fifth. Yan Gomes hitting sixth. Marlon Byrd, Juan Uribe, and Tyler Naquin rounded out.
And tonight's Northern Ohio Hyundai starting pitcher, Bartolo Colon for the Mets, making his second start. His last start was a very good one. Unfortunately for him, he got beat 1-0 against the Phillies. He went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits and 1 run, and Howard hit the home run off him. It ended up costing him a ball game. No walks.
First pitch is outside, ball one.
And if you're a hitter, you're going to get a fastball from him. You know that. He throws more fastballs than any pitcher.
Davis drives one toward right center field. And the right fielder, Granderson, makes the catch. One away.
Let's check out that Mets defense for you. They've only made 2 errors on the year. In the outfield, it's going to be Conforto in left, D'Assa in center, Granderson in right. Right at third, Cabrera at short, Walker is at second, Duda at first. D'Arnaud is behind the plate.
Jason Kipnis steps in, batting second here for the Tribe tonight. And it's ball one to Kipnis.
The thing about Colon, he has such movement on his fastball. The left-handers, he can start that ball at the hip and bring it to the inside part of the plate like right there. And when you get to 2 strikes, it could be a strikeout pitch, but it can run away from him. But it's, you know, it's just a matter of how he grips it. He's throwing about 88 now. You know, he used to throw, boy, mid to high 90s. But boy, at 42, this guy is still rolling. It is amazing.
That's the pitch that can be an equalizer for Colon. That one missed, but he'll start that pitch in off the plate. It looks like a ball. Hitters will give up on it, and it leaks over the inside corner.
And he's starting on the right side, at the first base side of the rubber, so it starts at you. It looks like it's inside, but it comes back and takes some sting on it.
Kipnis pokes one at deep left. That's off the wall. He's digging for 2. Conforto's throw will go toward third base, and Jason Kipnis has his second double of the year.
There you go. Stay on that pitch. He got a ball out over the plate. He's not going to come back inside, but he didn't get it away enough. Kipnis stayed back nicely on it. That's Jason Kipnis right there. When he takes the ball away and smoke it and drive it to left field, one of the few left-handers you see that can take it that way, he does and gets the double. So now they'll have an opportunity with a runner in scoring position.
Now Francisco Lindor. And he takes outside, ball one. Pop to center, not deep enough. Well, it might be deep enough. Kipnis is tagging. D'Assa, he makes a good throw toward the third base bag, and Kipnis will hold there. 2 down. Here are the keys to the game, brought to you by Wayside Furniture. Keep that Mets O down. They're already on the board with a single run. And against Bartolo Colon, Rick, as a hitter, you want to sort of cut the plate in half?
Yeah, pick a half. I mean, you know, it's going to be a fastball for the most part, so you can eliminate a lot of the off-speed pitches for the most part. You know, pick a half and go from there. I think when you get to 2 strikes, there's sometimes you can cheat in, but you don't want to cheat in to pull. You know, he's throwing 88. Stay on the baseball. Kipnis showed you what to do.
Mike Napoli. With a runner at second and 2 down here in the first.
You know, we talk about so many pitchers now throwing in the mid-90s and how hard they throw. I love watching somebody like this pitch because he was a flamethrower one time, but it goes to show if you can command a certain pitch, you can get your way and work your way through lineups on one pitch.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know you want 2 or 3 or to use it, but it goes to show you what command will do for you as well.
Boy, I mean, and that's
And
like
he's 88, 89.
slicing it paper thin.
There you go. Since he turned 40, 84 starts, record of 43 and 31, and a nice 3.55 ERA with 3 shutouts. He's an icon in New York now since he's been over there.
That's low.
What do they call him? The big sexy? I mean, he can work on his hitting. He has made a couple of plays. He flipped one behind his back last year. The first baseman to get it out. They just absolutely love him.
Got to feel pretty comfortable. This is his 85th career start at Progressive Field. Napoli with a sharp line drive, base hit into left field. Conforto up with it. Coming around third, Kipnis will try to score. The ball's cut off. Kipnis will score, and Mike Napoli will go to second base. So Nap, with his 4th RBI on the year, ties the game in the bottom of the first, and the Indians able to come right back and respond.
Well, I like that. First at bat, you get a base hit with a runner in scoring position, and Mike Napoli, it comes with 2 outs. Kipnis was 2 steps away from third base when Conforto had that ball, and he made a terrible throw. He didn't even hit his cutoff man in the shoulders. It short hops him, and Kipnis able to come in and score easily, but that allowed Napoli to go to second base. So I can tell you right now, they will start waving. Keep going, baby. Mike Sarbaugh saw that. That's going to be a continue. Let's keep running.
Let's see if they can take advantage of the extra base that Napoli picked up there with Carlos Santana at the plate now.
You look at yesterday, and they started out 1 for 10, and that first hit came when the Indians scored their first run by Lindor against Tampa. So you get it out of the chute early, you come back, you tie the game. I like that. It'll take pressure off the other guys.
Carlos drives one deep right field. Is it fair? It is gone! Santana almost went back toward home plate.
Well, they may come challenge this because D'Arnaud behind home plate is saying it might have been foul. But that's going to be a 2-run home run.
It's a 2-out, 2-run home run for Carlos Santana. And for the moment, the Indians have a 3-0 lead. Terry Collins coming out of the dugout. He's going to go to the first base umpire, Dan Isanyan. He may ask them to take another look. This isn't a manager's challenge. Home runs, he can just ask them. They don't have to, but most times they will. Dale Scott, the crew chief, they'll convene. Now the umpire called it a home run. Santana looked like he was heading back towards home plate.
That looks foul. I did. That looks like it goes in front of the pole. You know what? I looked. Santana did walk back. The catcher said it was foul, but the umpire said it was fair, and then Santana started again. So this very well could be overturned.
Now they're calling it a foul ball.
Foul ball. Exactly. Now that's not even going to replay. That's just from the 4 of them talking. But okay, Napoli goes back out, but they're going to talk to Terry Francona.
Well, who had the better look at it than the first base umpire? Would it have been the second base umpire, Bob Davidson?
No, I don't know. It'd have to be the home plate umpire. But you know what the amazing thing to me is? How is it that the guy always closest to the ball makes the wrong call, and there's always someone farther away that can clean it up? But
they're going to go look at it. Are they? No, I guess they're not.
No, he explained himself, and what are you going to do? Unless he's the one. I'm thinking Dale Scott's the one that saw it, and he explained it. Look, I saw it go in front of the pole, and
Okay, we'll try it again.
So
now
they go, yeah.
A 1-ball, 1-strike count, I believe. Upstairs with it.
One more look at it. If you pick it up in the top part of your screen, and when you can see the ball, you think it went behind it?
I can't tell. No way.
Okay.
Maybe my screen's bad. I don't know.
That's the sun. That's the sunlight on that yellow pole.
Just missed. Boy, D'Arnaud wanted that. He tried to frame it.
That looked like a changeup to me, where he was coming in to give him that different look. He's sitting away. Ooh, maybe a pretty good pitch. If anything, low. Looked like it went by. That was a pretty good pitch.
Well, that 2-1 pitch is such a difference maker in a count. Now it goes to 3-1. You figure Santana's got the advantage. Maybe not against the wily veteran Colon. Way outside, ball 4, and the inning continues. What an at bat for Santana. He goes from potentially hitting a 2-run homer with 2 outs to making a 3-0 game, to having to go back to home plate. Works the count, ends up drawing a walk. And now Yan Gomes to the plate. You know, that home run or foul ball now hit by Carlos Santana reminds me of when the Indians played the Yankees in the 07 playoffs. Granderson hit one just inside that pole for a home run. I want to say it was game 1 maybe when he was with the Yankees. Or was it Johnny Damon leading off the game? I knew it was a left-handed hitter. It was Johnny Damon.
Leading off the game. Okay.
0-1 pitch. Fouled back out of play. Well, the Indians have come back to tie it here in the bottom of the first, and now a chance to maybe take the lead. Yan Gomes quickly in the hole, though. 0-2. Fights it off and almost took out a New York Met.
It did. That ball got over the railing because he fell off. Look at him. That got him. Whoever it is, right in the arm.
It's number 42, I can tell you that.
Thanks.
To get our spotter on now, I'm not sure who that was for the Mets.
It looked like Flores to me.
Two on, 2 out, and the 2-strike pitch to Gomes. A little bit low.
Bottom part of the strike zone, not getting the call. We saw that yesterday.
Checks the runners, and up and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Colon piling it up here in the first inning. 26 pitches, but that pales in comparison to the start he had back in 1997 against Seattle. Now the 2-2. And he throws it by Gomes and strikes him out.
He's lucky to keep it a tie game.
He catches a break on an overturned call. Napoli, though, ties it for Cleveland.
They connected all season long with radio broadcasts, video highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your smartphone and tablet.
Friday night crowd shuffling in. Second inning, 1-1 ball game. Neil Walker, the former Pirate, will lead it off, and he takes a strike from Cody Anderson. Big curveball and a nice one. In for a strike. It's 0-2.
That's one pitch he didn't have a lot last year that he certainly worked on in the spring, is a good curveball. Boy, if he can get that down, which it takes a while when you're adding a new pitch to your repertoire.
Walker lines one towards center field, and it's going to drop in right center for a base hit. And the Mets have their leadoff man aboard here in the second.
Well, let's see if this is the changeup. It is. It's a changeup, and the same thing that happened with Cespedes. They were out in front, but they were able to keep their hands back, and they hit it off the end of the bat, and they get it in front of the outfielders. So third hit now for the Mets. A team that came into this ball game hitting 194 as a team, which was last in the National League. They had scored only 20 runs in their first 8 games.
Former Indian is Drupal Cabrera. Cabrera was traded to the Nationals 2 years ago for Zach Walters, who was recently traded by the Indians. Spent last year in Tampa Bay, where he hit .265. Smacks this one fair down the right field line into the corner. Walker around second on his way to third. They're going to wave him around. Bird's throw on one bounce goes to Kitnas. Throw to the plate. Called safe. Very close play. Gomes tried to slap the tag on him, but Walker apparently beat it in there, and the Mets come right back and regain the lead.
This is one of those plays that is bang, bang, and it looked like, just from the naked eye, the foot got on the plate before the tag was applied. It's down into the corner.
Terry Francona's going to challenge the play.
Good. Here we go. Then they must see something. Let's see. Bird gets it to Kitnas, and one hopper. Kitnas fires a seed. Here we go. Okay, that's going to be awfully close. We're going to have to take a look at it again. They are challenging. That's a tough look there. Ooh. Did his glove hit the shin and sort of knock his foot off the plate? That's what we want to see. Is it down? Is it in? Oh, he's. Oof.
What do you think?
I would say he's out from that look. I would say he's out. I don't know if that toe got to the plate, but. Wow, we got a lot of action going on early in this game, don't we?
Yes, indeed.
I'm telling you. It could be a 2-1 ball game with a man on second base, or it could be a 1-1 tie with a beautiful out at home plate if they can overturn it. The Indians lost a run.
I don't think they're going to get this overturned.
Okay.
It just looked like
he got the foot in. For the naked eye, I thought he did. But then I'm starting to look at this replay, and boy, I'm telling you, when you start slowing it down frame by frame, you never know.
Let's take another look here and see if we can slow it down.
His toe, does it get to the plate?
See, that's the one. That's the replay I was looking at, and I thought that looks safe to me.
Okay.
This one, he looks out. Now
yeah,
that look, he looks out.
That's the look I was going for. It didn't look like his toe hit the plate. It's going to the back part of it.
I mean, we are literally breaking it down frame
that's
by
what I'm
frame.
saying.
But that looked like an out.
Well, they're taking a while with it, so it's a really tough one to call either way. But you can see why the Indians had to challenge.
But
The first look I had, I thought he was safe. But then we started looking at all the replays.
you can take a run off the board. It's worth a challenge.
Absolutely. The Indians lost one on a foul ball.
Lost two. Would have been a 2-run homer. So they lost a pair. Here we go. Dale Scott out at the plate.
All right. I thought so.
Marlon Byrd to Jason Kipnis to Yan Gomes. I mean,
That's to me. How close can you get? An inch? Is that an inch? I don't know, but it's a good thing they challenged because it takes a run off the board. Look at, he can't believe it. He thought he was safe. I got to tell you, when I saw it from the first view, naked eye, I thought he was safe. But good challenge right there.
Well, Mike Barnett from the video replay command center in the dugout or in the clubhouse. I'll tell you, those are the tough ones when you've got to make the decision quickly. We needed 5 or 6 looks at it before we were sure.
Well, how about the one yesterday in Tampa when the guy slid into second base and he came up off the bag?
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about an inch.
It's a great challenge. Now the 0-1. Chopper towards short, Lindor. Throws out Travis d'Arnaud. There are 2 down, and Cabrera goes to third.
For New York, hitting 9.
So still tied at 1.
Alejandro Diaz.
And the former Chicago White Sox outfielder Alejandro Diaz.
Yeah, we've played against this guy many games when he was with the White Sox. He always seemed to do something against the Indians. This year looking for his first hit.
Split last year between Baltimore and Boston, and then San Francisco for 24 games. So he's been on the move the last couple of years. Man, it's one of those deals where you just wonder, sometimes a change of scenery can jumpstart a year. He had 214 in 30 games for Baltimore. Went to Boston and hit 292 in 60 games for the Red Sox. To center field, pretty well struck. Naquin racing back on the track, makes the catch, slams into the wall, and hangs on to end the inning. Well, Tyler Naquin, full bore, made the catch. Now he's trying to shake it off and head to the dugout. Saves another run. Tyler Naquin getting some high fives in the dugout. Trying to wear that wall out, though. That's a tough one to beat.
No, you can't beat the wall. The wall will never lose.
Marlon Byrd will lead off the home half of the second for Cleveland. Bartolo Colon delivers, and Byrd bangs one deep, but fouled on the left side.
Just the movement on that ball kept coming in and in. If you were going to hit it hard, you got to get the barrel out of that bat out front and made him pull it foul.
Just missed, and it's 1-1.
Byrd likes to hit a fastball, I see.
He doesn't like the call, but it's going to put him down on the count, 1-2. Smacks this one right back up the middle. Well, Marlon Byrd with a leadoff single here in the second. Let's go down to Andre Knott. You talked to Marlon Byrd, and he's got a pretty good book on Bartolo Colon.
He's got a great book on every pitcher, but I brought up the numbers, and you never know how athletes will react to numbers. And I told him what he does against Colon, and he told me almost to shut up. He goes, I always feel like they're hard at bats against him. He goes, then somebody like you tells me the numbers, and I go, wow, maybe I do like going against that guy. He goes, but he still thinks at the end of the day that Bartolo could get one up to 96, 97. He goes, that's how good a pitcher he is today, that he knows how to play and finesse the mile per hour as well.
Well, I agree with you. I'm not saying he can hit 96, but he can maybe make it look like 96 just by the way he changes speeds now.
Well, I think one part of it is you're going to get a fastball. As a hitter, that's okay. You don't have as much doubt in your mind. All three Indians hits have come after 1-2 counts tonight. So you can't be afraid to hit off him because he's around the plate. So if you guess, like we were talking about in our keys, take half the plate, and even if you fall behind, you still got a pretty good chance to put one in play. Unless he just paints it and makes a nasty pitch.
Uribe shoots one right up the middle. And his second hit of the year pushes Marlon Byrd into scoring position.
Well, there you go.
Never met a fastball he didn't like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You don't have to worry about that good curveball or a changeup. He will throw some changeups, but look at that. That's bad. A badly located pitch right there. And what happens? He smokes it up the middle. They're already 4 for 7 off Colon. That's the first one that didn't come with 2 strikes.
Well, now Tyler Naquin with 2 on and nobody out. Naquin already 4 for 9 at the plate this year. David Wright cheating in at third. Naquin squares, bunts it to Colon, who goes to third, and they get the force. I'm a little surprised, unless he was bunting on his own, I'm a little surprised they would put that play on this early in the game.
I think he might have been doing it on his own. I don't think Terry's going to, when you're 4 for 7 the first time through the lineup, I'm saying that Naquin did that on his own. There's no way he'd put it on in the second inning. He'd rather see him swing the bat. Did it on his own and bunted a little too far out in front. Colon jumped off the mound and made a pretty good play going to third.
And that'll give Rajay Davis a chance with 2 on and 1 out. Colon had to make a lot of pitches in that first inning, but it's nothing like his second major league start. Andre and I were talking about it before the game, and he brought it up. We remember that Colon made a lot of pitches. We couldn't remember which game it was, so we went back and looked it up. It was his second start in his career at Seattle. He got 2 outs in the first inning and was out of the game after making 61 pitches.
Yeah, I remember that start. I really do.
I think we saw the last guy he faced. I think we saw was a 15 pitch at bat. Ended up with a walk, and Mike Hargrove had seen enough at that point. Now the 2-0. Swung on and missed. But that rookie year for Colon, you know, he was back and forth four different times from AAA to the big league club. That was also a pretty good Indians team. Yeah, pretty good in that they went to the World Series. But remember, during the regular season, they barely got into the postseason.
Yeah, but they did. You can see in his 5.5 years, 75 and 45. That's a very impressive record.
Chopped towards short. Backhanded by his dribble. Goes to second, and they get the force there.
Good
and
play.
that is a huge out.
Good play. He realized, I just got to get there. I have to make a good throw. And he did just that. He comes over the top and throws it over to Walker, almost acts like a first baseman. So he just had to get there, and that was not an easy pick, but that was a very good play. They get the second out, and still runners at the corners.
So it'll leave it up to Jason Kipnis. And we'll see if Rajay Davis is inclined to steal a base here.
Oh, he'll steal it.
Doesn't have his protective mitt, though. I don't know. Is that a tip? Is that a tip off?
You know what? He doesn't right here. You're right. Usually he's got that cover on his hand. The of glove.
Looks like an oven mitt.
Yeah, it sure does. When you go in head first, unless he plans on stealing, sliding, going feet first.
Rajay took off and then stopped and went back to first.
That's okay.
Maybe he didn't like his jump.
Right. As a base stealer, if you feel like you're taking off, he's a guy that knows he's stolen enough bases that when he gets a good jump or not. He felt he didn't have it, so he can stop and go back. And that catcher, you know, they hear he's going, you know, they get up and they're looking at second base, so they're not going to stop and throw behind you unless you fall down. If he gets a jump, he'll go. But, you know, they don't have to worry. They will throw through here because you've got Uribe at third base with no speed, so they can throw through if they want.
Missed inside, 2-1. Andre, what do you got on the of glove?
The of glove. You know, we were trying to figure out what it was when he was in Detroit last year. So finally, Mike Napoli let me try his on when we were in St. Pete. It's basically a plastic covering. And he said, bro, don't think you won't break your fingers with it. He goes, it's just protection. But you still need, he said it helps, but it doesn't do it all the way. He goes, really, for Napoli, he broke his thumb at one point in time. He said anytime someone jumps up, he wants to have something over it. He goes, so basically it just gives you the confidence that
so it's a plastic covering.
Yeah, it's a little plastic over your knuckles, basically.
Hard plastic inside. Yeah,
right.
Makes sense.
Like when you take your pot roast out of the oven, you can still get burned.
Rajay with no throw to second steals that one easily. That's number 4 for him.
You knew he was going to go. It's just a matter of time. He peeks back in, and right now they're saying, okay, that gets Duda back and off first base and can protect some of that hole now that Kipnis has a 3-1 count.
And a foul back out of play. Full count. Jason stayed back on a pitch his first time up and drove it off the wall in left field. Pitch was away. And the 3-2. Blooped towards third and caught by Wright to end the inning. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left after 2. We're tied at 1. One to stay tuned later in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Curtis Granderson leading off the third inning and takes a strike from Cody Anderson. Cody Anderson struck out Granderson in the first. High fly ball right field. Marlon Byrd takes care of that one away. Andre, what do you have for us on Cody Anderson?
All right,
tonight?
you guys have been talking about pitching and the art of pitching. How about this stat? Cody Anderson, no starting pitcher has produced a lower ERA than Anderson with a 3.05 since the start of last season, while whiffing fewer than 4.4 batters per 9. Now, look, in the minor leagues over 5 seasons, he struck out 6.8 per 9. I guess what I'm going at, you guys have been talking about Bartolo Colon and him and all the success he's had without striking out guys. Cody Anderson is coming into the big leagues, and he's not striking guys out, but he's being successful, guys.
That's what I like about it. He attacks hitters, and he tries to get out on 3 pitches or less. That's the key to pitching. Doesn't matter how you get him out. You hang around the games longer. He never pitched, 7 innings in the minor leagues. He comes up in his first 2 starts. What's he do? He goes 7 2/3, 7 innings against Tampa because he's throwing strikes. And, they put in play. They're going to make adjustments on him this year once they get to know him, and he may have to change. And I can tell you, this Met team right now, they're getting after his fastball.
Well, and because he throws so many strikes, you figure he's going to give up some hits.
That's
The key for him is pitching to contact, getting that double play every once in a while, and just letting his defense work for him.
He's going to get better. He's a hard worker. You have to love what he's done to this point. Don't think that, well, the manager, the coaching staff saw that in spring training, the way this kid works.
Yeah.
And that's why he's the number 4 starter on this team, because he's proved to them that, hey, I want to be a starter.
Yan Gomes tough to run on, but David Wright picks his spots well. He's 2 for 2 in stolen bases so far this year.
Well, with either catcher the Indians have, take your chances. If the pitchers do a halfway decent job, pretty good chance that they have an opportunity to get thrown out.
Michael Conforto, who belted a home run to center field his first time up, sends that one out of play. Just inside.
His curveball can come into play a little more. You watch in the first inning, watch the ball that he hits on a pitch away that he just drilled. Fastball down away. I think that might have been a 2-seamer down and away. Boy, he hit it a long way to center.
Missed outside. We have seen Tyler Naquin on the bench when the Indians have faced left-handed pitching so far this year. And Terry Collins basically said that's the game plan for Conforto this year. When they face lefties, he'll be on the bench. We've got Juan Lagares. Of course, Yoenis Cespedes is DHing tonight, but doesn't figure to play him against lefties. Or maybe he'll pick his spots against some southpaws.
Again, it's a young player, and that's what they're doing. They don't want to hit him in the number 3 hole. But what do? They hit him in the number 3 hole tonight for the first time. He goes deep in his first at bat.
Players make the decisions for you eventually, don't they?
Sooner or later, they know their players much better than I do. Do you want to babysit them for a while? They know what's best, and they'd rather be careful than send them into a fire. There you see that swing right there.
Oh, Conforto just waved at it. It was an emergency swing trying to stay alive. Cody Anderson has his second strikeout of the night.
Well, you come back and it's a changeup, and it's a good, well located one. Going down and away, just checked his swing. So that was a really good pitch. Check out the Buick stat of the game for Cespedes. Since being acquired from the Mets last July, trading deadline, they got hot. They got hot. Look at the runs per game. Almost 2 runs per game more. So a big difference he made in that lineup. But then towards the end of the year, I think the last couple of weeks, he just shut down.
Well, he kind of angered some Mets fans earlier. They had a game, and it's like we all had the first week of April. It was awful. Cold, snowy.
Oh, yeah, right.
And he was quoted as saying, "This isn't weather for baseball. This is weather for sleeping."
He's right. Yeah, but pretty much most of the East Coast teams had it, or the Midwest.
Yeah, everywhere.
I mean, yeah, it was just not one spot. It was a lot of places. You had 2 dome teams playing each other. You had teams out in the Midwest, but it happens. Hopefully that's past us now.
Once again, Cody Anderson pulling the string, and Cespedes way out in front of him.
You know what? He's starting to get that changeup down more, and you know their first time they hit a couple of changeups. I think Cespedes hit one and Walker hit one that was a changeup, and it was just off the end of the bat that blooped in there for 2 of the hits. So either he's taking a little more off of it, or he's getting it down more in the zone to keep him out in front.
Now the 1-2, high fastball, and that almost found the strike zone. You can see Gomes wanted it up out of the zone, and that almost nailed the letters.
Well, because he chases that pitch a lot, and you know what? He's a great low ball hitter. You see, he went up just a little too high. If you go just above the belt, it entices him, and he will swing through it, but don't get it down.
And he took a vicious hack there, fouling it off. It's 2-2 with 2 down in the third in a 1-1 game.
Yeah, it's a changeup that he leaves middle of the plate. So thank you. Let me try that again. This guy takes a lot of good swings at baseballs, but he's a good low ball hitter.
Takes and a full count. Wright takes off. The 3-2 is fouled back. Yeah, we'll do it again. David Wright, the New York Mets team captain. I think I read where it's only the 4th guy to be named team captain in their team history. He was named captain before the 2013 season. Another foul ball by Cespedes. Gomes can't find it. It was right at his foot.
Yeah, that ball went straight down and it didn't move. It's almost like it stuck to the ground. It had glue on it. Watch, it never bounces. Right there behind the plate. Gomes is looking up for it. And little does he know, it's right by his foot.
Once again, a 3-2 offering. Time called. Napoli holding David Wright at first base. And the payoff pitch was another foul ball.
Well, that was not a straight fastball by any means. That might have been a little cut fastball.
Well, this will be the 11th pitch of the at-bat as Cespedes continues to fight off pitch after pitch. And he got him to go fish to end the inning. Third strikeout for Cody Anderson. He fans a pair here in the third, and we stay tied at 1. Indians back home. 6-game homestand, 3 against the Mets this weekend. And then off day Monday, Seattle in for 3 after that.
Well, we look like we're in pretty good shape for the homestand, don't we? Weather-wise.
I mean,
it's nice tonight.
It's like a 180-degree difference from where when we left.
It's nice. No clouds. Spring day.
Takes. I'll tell you, I was driving around earlier. Had the windows down. People were cutting their grass. It felt like, okay, this is officially the first day of spring. Lindor chops one to short as Dribble Cabrera throws him out, 1 down. It was 51 degrees at game time. Of course, we just came from Tampa where it was 80 every day down there. But I mean, you think back to where it was last weekend in Chicago, and this is tropical.
Spring baseball, you just like it dry. You know, that opening week was a little rough for anybody. This is perfect. No complaints. No delays. Batting practice on the field where you can go out there and at both clubs. The Mets came out today, hit early between 2 and 3, and then the Indians are out there doing a lot of defensive drills and things like that. So both teams had a little extra work today, and you have to take advantage of it when you can, when you miss the time that both teams did in the first week of the season.
Napoli smashed to third, and David Wright spins around, throws him out.
Holy smokes. You talk about it. He hit just nothing but leather. I mean, that was a beautiful play. He turns, and I mean, that ball has topspin on it. That was a great play. Made it look easy, and boy, oh boy, that was hit hard. Whew. Nice play. He's been doing that for a number of years. Matter of fact, I think he broke the record for opening days as a New York Met. He was tied there with Seaver.
Carlos Santana had an interesting at-bat in the first inning. He was up with 2 on and 2 out. Actually, he was up with 1 on and 2 out and hit a ball down the right field line. Originally ruled a home run. It was a 2-out, 2-run homer. It was 3-0 Cleveland, but Terry Collins came out of the Mets dugout. He asked the umpires to take another look at it. They convened. They never went to replay. They convened and ruled that it was a foul ball. And I had noted that even as Santana, after he had hit it, he was headed back toward home plate thinking it was a foul ball. Indians go 1, 2, 3, and after 3, we are still deadlocked at 1. Mom and Dad apparently root for different clubs here, so poor guy's gonna have to. He's gonna have to pick sides at some point, either mom or dad. Lucas Duda will lead off here in the 4th. Grounded out his first time up. And Cody Anderson goes off speed, breaking ball for a strike.
It's a great pitch, first pitch, get it over, get ahead with the curveball, strike 1. I like it.
And then what is that, a change-up? Wow.
Yep. Good movement, change-up. Now you're sitting up there as a hitter going, okay, what do I do now? A curveball, change-up. You notice that first time through.
High fastball. And Uribe, the former shortstop, picks it and throws it up. Neil Walker comes up. He was involved in a play at the plate in the 2nd inning. Initially, this gave the Mets a 2-1 lead. But Terry Francona went to the video replay challenge, and the play was overturned on that
angle right there.
Frozen piece of video.
Yeah, he couldn't believe it. He thought he was in there and it was safe. He got the toe in. Kipnis very happy because he was the last one to throw it on the relay and went 9-4-2.
Walker bounces one to Kipnis.
Nice inning so far. Let's go.
2 down.
4 pitches.
Asdrubal Cabrera before the ball game.
Now stepping to the plate.
Today, saying hello to Terry Francona. Cabrera trying to put the whammy on Tito, and he's trying to put it right back on him.
Well, Cabrera with a double.
Yeah, he should have had an RBI, but
that's who was thrown out at home plate on his pitch, on his ball.
Tito took it away from him. Slicing and foul.
So far, 8 of the 11 outs that Cody Anderson has been able to get tonight have been on 3 pitches or less.
Pulls it foul. Cody Anderson, after retiring the first 2 on ground ball outs, has Cabrera in the hole 0-2. And he fouls that pitch off to stay alive. Now, Terry Francona coming in, you have your thoughts, you have your perceptions of players, managing against them across the way. But, you know, he wasn't sure about Asdrubal Cabrera, what kind of player he could be or what kind of player he was. By the end of the year, Terry was really impressed with just how hard Asdrubal played. You know, he had one injury, put him on the DL, but other than that, you know, he showed up every day. He played hard for him. Yeah. He said, hey, I gained a lot of respect for Asdrubal. Didn't really know what kind of player he was. You don't until you're with him every day.
Right. That's the key for anybody, is to see a guy every day. You know, you see a visiting player come in and he has a bad series, he can look bad, and you may not think a lot about him, or have a good series and think highly about him. But
good point. Yeah.
You know, when you see him on a daily basis, day in and day out, and you watch him go through his program and his work and his work ethic, that's when you appreciate him.
And that year, Rick, only J.J. Hardy hit more home runs as an American League shortstop,
right.
and Asdrubal was 3rd among shortstops in fielding percentage. So,
well, Asdrubal lost the range as a shortstop when he first came up. He started as a second baseman in, what was it, 07?
Yeah.
And, you know, went to play and picked up for who? Johnny Peralta. And Johnny didn't have the greatest range, and then Asdrubal lost that, and then when he went to Washington, he started playing second base, then went down to Tampa, and he's playing short again. And, you know, the Mets signed him this year, and he's back at shortstop. So it's funny how you go around and perception changes.
Oh, Cody thought he had strike 3. Does not get the call in a full count. I think also that players, you know, physically it might be a little easier when you're younger. You have to put in a lot more work as you get older to stay in the middle of the diamond.
Well, and yeah, there's no question about it. At that position, yes. Very good at bat.
Another close pitch, but
really good at bat for Cabrera. First walk.
Well, yeah, the first walk allowed by Cody, and he's not happy about it.
Yeah, he was down in the count and got that walk. Well, 2016 season tickets still available. They include 8 different plans, and when you buy a prorated 20-game plan, you get up to 12 games free. Just visit Indians.com season tickets for more details.
Travis d'Arnaud is just 2 for 20 to start the year.
Yeah, they need this guy to hit. They need David Wright and Lucas Duda. Those are the guys that they got to get rolling. And we know how it is when when you put pressure on yourself. Guys try and do too much until you sit down and relax.
Well, this could when it's all said and done, and there's a long time before the judgment will come down. Be one of the best trades the Mets have ever made, though. They sent R.A. Dickey to Toronto, and they got this guy, Travis d'Arnaud, and Noah Syndergaard.
Yeah, that's unbelievable that Toronto could let a guy go that throws like Syndergaard, and they're looking for starting pitchers.
Yeah. The Syndergaard throws 98. It looks like he's just
an easy
flicking
98.
it out there.
Yeah, I was hoping to get to watch him pitch in this series, but not to be. He's missing a start.
One ball and 2 strikes. Syndergaard hit 12 home runs last year, 13 the year before that. Those are modest numbers and home run totals, but he's the first Mets catcher to have double-digit homers in back-to-back seasons since Mike Piazza. And that was more than a decade ago. A 1-2. Swung on and missed. Cody Anderson gets his 4th strikeout of the night. We'll head to the home half of the 4th. Tied at 1. Brought to you by the attorneys at Elk and Elk. And for the New York Mets, Jacob deGrom, currently listed as day-to-day. And Zach Wheeler, another pitcher on the DL. And I think I mentioned it in the open, that the Mets have a tremendous pitching staff, and I thought these two teams sort of looking at each other in the mirror, the way they're built, the way they're constructed. But a lot of people feel like the Mets have the best starting 5 collectively in all of baseball.
Okay.
Even with 42-year-old Bartolo Colon on the hill. Boy, he really sawed off Yan Gomes. Our great clip of the game from yesterday down in St. Pete. Marlon Byrd going into the gap to make a nice backhanded catch, and then letting his bat do some talking. And a big home run.
Yeah, the right-handed bat starting to come around. At least they hit some home runs yesterday.
Marlin sends a sky-high fly ball to right field. Granderson is there, and there are 2 down.
Yeah, last year for the Indians, it took them 20 games to hit their first 6 home runs from the right side of the plate. They did that yesterday. They've already reached that, so ahead of schedule. And he faced a lot of left-handers early, too. We will see one Sunday.
Yeah, just one more note, too, on that Jacob deGrom deal. I know it doesn't really matter to Indians fans, but deGrom, who's a very talented pitcher, looks like he was going to be going on the DL. He had a
lat strain
bullpen session today down in Florida, but the results did not go well, and indications are that he will probably be headed to the disabled list.
Colon looks like he's starting to settle in a little bit.
Once he retired 8 in a row after the back-to-back singles to open the second inning. He was able to pitch out of trouble. And Juan Uribe fouls that off.
Seems like he's slowing it down a little bit. That's a good movement going in on that pitch. He tried to do that the first time up. Uribe lined a single right back up the middle, past Cabrera into center field.
Checked his swing. Did he go? He did not.
You know, you look at Colon and you think about it. Everybody knows how good Pedro Martinez was. Well, Colon has 218 career wins. It's the 3rd most among Dominican pitchers. He's only 1 behind Pedro. And the leader is Juan Marichal at 243. So when you think about it, his first year, 1997, he's been around a long time.
Pedro didn't weigh as much as one of Colon's legs.
Yeah, that's true. But you would think he won more ball games, you know? Inducted in the Hall of Fame last year. You think
just this guy's longevity is astounding. Base hit right field for Juan Uribe.
Nice job of hitting. He was down 0-2. Hits that 1-2 pitch. Another hit coming on with 2 strikes off Colon. Uribe taking this one the other way, so he is now 2 for 2. Really a nice job because he was trying to sink that ball in on his hands, and Uribe said, okay, I've got something for that. I'm going to take my inside out stroke and take you to right field. So a good job. Both teams now with 5 hits.
And now Tyler Naquin to the plate. Uribe, of course, who spent time with the Mets a year ago, was a key addition to that ball club. Naquin fouling it back.
Yeah, he bunted his first time up, and I still say I think he did it on his own. We might be able to find that out after the game.
Naquin with Uribe at first and 2 down. Takes a pitch on the inside corner.
Is that little comebacker, I think, that locked him up? I don't think a lot of hitters down in the minor leagues see a pitch like that, like we see a number of guys in the big leagues that can make. That little comeback fastball. Kluber's a guy that can do it.
Threw it by him.
Boy, didn't mess around, did he?
The inning is over. Second strikeout for Colon. 4 complete. 1-1 score. Brought to you by Levin Furniture. For the best deals on furniture and mattresses, shop Levin's. And by T-Mobile. Get major league coverage. T-Mobile has doubled its 4G LTE in the last year. Well, the first 4 have been played to a tie. It's been very good pitching, as we expected. Some interesting moments early offensively.
Yeah, there's a lot of action in the first 2 innings, and pretty much now started to settle down a little.
We had an umpires meeting, if you will, an overturn a call on a potential home run ball, then a video replay challenge erased another run at the plate. One for each team, so it's been interesting. Score says 1-1, but been a lot more action than the score would indicate. Now the pitchers seem to be both settling into action.
Those people sitting up in the upper deck, there's only 2 people up there. And that ball came right into the middle of their 2 seats. They both got up and got out of the way, and the ball landed them. As they say, the ball will find you.
De Aza drives one deep to center. Naquin looking up, and it is gone. Alejandro De Aza, as he seems to always do, gets a big hit against the Indians. This one leaves the yard, and it gives New York a 2-1 lead.
Well, he sent
his first hit of the year.
He sent Naquin to the warning track his last at bat. He smokes the ball. I didn't realize he had that much power. It was a fastball out over the plate. He let it track a little bit deeper, but boy, that thing went a long way. And it gets out of here, so the Mets have a couple of solo home runs. De Aza, you're right, picks up. I think he's playing with a White Sox uniform on.
High pop. And Naquin calls for it. The center fielder makes the catch, one away.
Well, KeyBank's kids tickets start at just $10 for kids 12 and under with the purchase of an adult ticket. And kids tickets are located in the family deck out of Progressive Field and are only available at Indians.com.
David Wright, the batter. Wright a line out to short in the first, and then a base hit in the left field in the third. You know, it's interesting that the New York Mets got off to a slow start. Going into their last game, they were just 2-5, and because Washington's got off to such a great start, winning 5 in a row, the Nationals are 7-1. Terry Collins and his club, they were in a game against Miami. They had a lead late, and he went to his closer Familia for a 5-out save, even though it was the 4th time he had pitched in 5 days. And afterwards, a number of the New York media asked Collins about the maneuvers, and it wasn't the only move that he made that was in question. There were some other relievers that they'd used that had pitched a lot of innings in the first week of the season. He said afterwards, look, I thought this was a game we had to win. He said it was a game we couldn't afford to just sacrifice. And I don't know what it is about New York, but they took those comments and they blew that thing into a firestorm of a story, basically saying that Terry Collins was in full panic mode. Look, his job is to win games.
Yeah, right.
Now, you can't win at all costs, and he knows that. He's been around the game a long time. But he just felt like, look, Nationals are off to a great start. You're not going to win or lose the pennant in the first week of the season. But you kind of have to send a message to your team every once in a while. This is a game we have to try and win.
Yeah,
You've got to try and win this game. Yes, the next day was an off day.
Right.
So
I agree with you. Hey, your job is to win the baseball game, and you know how many outs you use your closer for or whatever, and you know whether you use him 2 or 3 days in a row. Look, it'll all take care of himself. He said, look, I'm going to give him we have an off day. If he needs another day after that, we'll give him that one, and you know, you'll give him whatever he needs.
Cody comes back, gets a strikeout of David Wright, and there are 2 down. And every manager, especially nowadays, nobody's going to abuse a closer. He goes to his pitchers just as Terry Francona and Mickey Callaway do.
Right.
You go before the game, hey, can I use you today? Are you good today? What do you think? And the guys have to be honest too on that side of it.
Well, the bottom line, it comes to this with the media. They think they know what they're doing, how to run a team. That guy's with them every single day, and they work together. So you know what? You can't worry about what they say and what they write. Your job is to take care of your team, your players, and everything like that, and they do that.
And my point is, everyone has their right to their opinion. That's what's great about this game. We can all have our opinion and second guess and play, you know, amateur manager. But the way that story mushroomed, it was like,
yeah,
hey, let's pump the brakes, folks.
It happens a lot nowadays with a lot of different things because everything is viral and on video so quickly.
And because they went to the World Series last year, expectations for this team.
And they were struggling.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? They got the win, and they enjoyed an off day, and they're coming in here, and they're going to try and win again. So.
Well, they lead it 2-1 on a pair of solo homers. This guy hit the first in the first, Michael Conforto, and it was clobbered to straightaway center field. Close, did not get the call, just missing. And it's now 2-2. That foul. Now the 2-2 delivery downstairs, full count. You know, it's kind of rare too. Over the last 20 years, I guess, the Yankees have just kind of owned baseball talk in New York. But
true.
Now the Mets.
Oh yeah,
kind of
they're the head. No, they're the top dog now. Yes, they are. And all the tabloids and everything like that.
And everybody comes
it's a little
out
different.
Woodward. Yeah.
When you're the hunted.
Yeah. I know. I was just thinking, Rick, the Mets were just here a couple of years ago. We haven't been to New York in a long time.
We've never been to Citi Field.
To the Mets home stadium, I should say. Yeah, we were at Shea, but that's, gosh, I don't know.
That's been quite a while.
Yeah.
It was back in the early 2000s.
They're telling me 2004 was the last time we were at Shea.
I can believe that. It's about the last time we were in San Diego or Colorado, too.
This is nothing
you could, that's all right. Nothing you could do. Right off the end of the bat, made a good pitch. It'll be an infield single. So a 2-out single, and with the shift, that's undefensible. It's just like a perfect bunt. No one's on that side of the field. The only one that can retrieve it, and you got to get it before he gets to, is Cody Anderson. Unfortunately, now you got to come up and face Cespedes.
Well, he struck him out his last time up, but that was a pretty good at bat. Cespedes fouled off a number of pitches. I believe it went 11 or 12 pitches deep in that at bat before he finally struck him out. Pushed him back off the plate with a fastball. Cespedes knows how to enjoy the spoils, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He came to spring training this year, if I'm not mistaken.
6. I think it was 6 or 7.
Different automobiles, and they were exotic.
Yeah, 7
all
for
over
the
board.
first week. Yeah, they were. Well, there you go. They were in the World Series, and they signed it back, and it was like, I was sick of it after the first week. I saw the first day. I was thinking, all right, that's cool.
Well, this is not cool. Deep to center and gone. Yoenis Cespedes with a 2-out, 2-run homer. And the Mets have taken a 4-1 lead now with a 3 spot in the 5th.
Well, you know, that infield single, and you had to come up and face this guy. He gets a breaking ball, and Cespedes, a good low ball hitter, shoots it to right center field. Will hit his 2nd home run, and all the runs for the Mets today on home runs. 2 solo shots, the 2-run shot here. And Cody Anderson's given up 3 home runs tonight. So it is now 4-1 with a big 3-run 5th. A lot like what the Indians did to Tampa yesterday. It was a 1-1 ball game, and all of a sudden they dropped a 3 spot with a couple of home runs.
Mickey Callaway out for a conversation. Indians bullpen starting to get some action as Ross Detweiler gets loose. Alejandro De Aza started the inning with a solo shot to the bleachers and left, and after 2 outs, the little squib off the end of the bat, infield single by Conforto, and Cespedes goes deep the opposite way, and all of a sudden it's a 3-run inning.
Yeah, look at him. He gets down. That's right into his swing plane. The Mets came in, and in their first 8 games, they only had 2 home runs. They have 3 home runs on the night.
A little bit low to Lucas Duda, and it's quickly 2-0.
Look at that. He just got done moving from that spot. When you look at Uribe, he was over in that hole, and Duda's one of the left-handers they shift on. They shift on Granderson, they shift on Duda, and also Walker. And I mean, right before that pitch was made, Uribe ran over about 25 feet to play shortstop, and he hit it right where he was at. You see the smile? Kipnis is looking at him right now. Look at him. He just vacated that area where Duda's going to hit the ball. Bingo.
Well, that's going to do it for Cody Anderson as Terry Francona makes the call, Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen. And Ross Detweiler is coming into the ballgame with the Indians trailing it 4-1 here in the 5th. Presented by Sports Time Ohio is back and includes your first drink. Grab some friends and catch the game from the corner of the new drink rails in left field. District tickets are available only online at indians.com/district ticket. Left-hander Ross Detweiler into the ballgame, making his third appearance. He's got the switch-hitting Neil Walker coming up. There were 2 outs in the inning. It was a 1-run game. And then a little off the end of the bat hit, 2-run homer, opposite field single, and the night came to a close that quickly. And now Neil Walker tees off and tattoos it into the bleachers for another 2-run homer. And the New York Mets extend the lead with a game of home run derby here tonight. A 5-run fifth for the Mets.
Well, that didn't take long, did it? One pitch, and they're going to add on. That's a big inning. It was the middle of the play. Look at it. He knew it. Detweiler knew it as soon as he saw it go off the bat into the bleachers. 4 home runs for the Mets tonight, a long ball. And you know what? Coming with 2 outs. Every run they have scored tonight. It's a lot like what happened to the Indians down in Tampa, with a lot of scoring with 2 outs. Game number 1, and there they go. The boys that have to hit the home runs there are doing it tonight.
Jabba Chamberlain getting loose. Now as Drupal Cabrera looks at a ball in the dirt. Cabrera doubled in that second inning. He walked in the 4th. And the foul back into the seats. To short where Lindor boots it. And this inning just does not seem to want to end. So the error by Lindor will extend it for at least one more batter now as Travis d'Arnaud will come to the plate.
Yeah, 5th error, and this one there, it may be because of the length of the inning. You get out there and so much has happened. They've been standing around. He doesn't catch it cleanly, and he's lucky that Napoli was able to get up and catch that ball, because it might have went into the stands after trying to make the throw. Don't think he had a chance for him, so that'll go as an error. The Mets now, with a team that wasn't scoring, have 6 runs on 10 hits here, and we are in the 5th inning.
And a strike call to Travis d'Arnaud. And that just missed. 1-1. Out of play to the right. Last time the Mets hit 3 home runs in an inning was last August, when Curtis Granderson, Daniel Murphy, and Lucas Duda turned the trick. They hit all 3 off Jordan Zimmerman of the Nationals. Bounced in there.
Yeah, this has been a long inning. The 9th man to the plate in the inning. Piazza started it off with a solo home run to left center field.
to right field. And it's run down by Marlon Byrd to end the inning. But the Mets send 9 men to the plate. 3 times they go deep, and they've opened up a 6-1 lead. The bottom of the 5th. The Indians have only managed a single run off Bartolo Colon thus far, and they may have let him off the hook early, and that could be something they'll look back on later and regret. They scored a run on the 1st but had a chance for more. They had the first 2 on to start the 2nd, and since then they have not even challenged. There's a base hit to start the bottom of the 5th by Rajai Davis. This was an early turning point. First inning, Carlos Santana up, hits one deep. It's originally ruled a home run. Santana thought it was foul.
Yeah, he stopped.
The Mets would come out, ask the umpires to get together. They convened, and somebody had a better look at it and said, no. After second thought, it's a foul ball. So Santana went back, tried again. He walked, but Gomes struck out to end the inning. Jason Kipnis, who doubled and scored in that first inning. How about this for Bartolo Colon? First time through the lineup, he used 32 pitches. Second time through the lineup, he used 32 pitches.
Okay.
Now Jason Kipnis smashes it to deep center field. It's over the head of Diaza. It'll go all the way to the wall. Rajai Davis screaming around third. He will score and into second with an RBI double is Jason Kipnis, as the Indians come right back and answer with a run on the bottom of the 5th to make it a 6-2 ball game.
The second double that Kipnis has tonight. The first one he drove it to left field off the wall. This one straight away center. Little two-seam fastball down and away. And, you know, Kip wanted to go to third base. He says, I got to hold because you're losing at this point. It's now a 6-2 game. But he drove it nicely. His second hit, and there you go. A couple of hitters in, and they're right back on the scoreboard. So see if they can keep it going and add a couple more and cut into that 6-2 lead.
Now, how badly does Terry Collins want to win this game? Comes into the inning with a 6-1 lead. It's only the 5th. But some stirring in the New York Mets bullpen. Nobody throwing yet, but some guys starting to get loose out there. Francisco Lindor 0 for 2. He is flied out and he is grounded out. takes a strike. This is the 46,460th inning of Bartolo Colon's career. Wow. Among active pitchers, only CC Sabathia has thrown more, I'm sorry, that's not inning, pitches. Total number of pitches thrown. Only CC's thrown more, just over 47,000 pitches thrown in his career.
Think about that, 47,000 pitches.
And that doesn't count the warm-up tosses, the bullpen sessions.
Yeah, you really got to think what his arm looks like on the inside. You know, when you throw that many pitches.
I don't think they want to
And how you can stay around that long, you have to be a freak of nature. I mean, the way people now, their elbow blows out, the Tommy John surgeries that players have.
And Lindor is punched out. Third strikeout for Colon, one away.
Here's that little two-seam fastball that comes back in there and catches the corner. What a great pitch. You don't see that, and as a hitter, you just don't think that that ball can come back. That's like a left-handed slider. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And you don't see it that often, but boy, if you can execute it, you get a lot of those. And Colon does. That's his third strikeout. Great pitch.
Napoli sends a foul ball right back into the crowd. You were talking about Colon, Rick, and all the pitches he's thrown, all the innings he's logged. You think about this modern day of baseball that we live in, pro sports in general. All the strength and conditioning, all the programs, all the weights. Think about just the weight rooms that every team has now.
Yeah, it's come a long way.
And then you look at Bartolo Colon. This guy flies in the face of everything.
Fact.
Yeah.
Think about it. Maybe there's something to be said about that. You carry a little excess baggage and you can go out there. You're a horse, man. You know, 200 innings now is the benchmark. It used to be 250, and there were guys that went more than that. But boy, it used to be running for their conditioning for a lot of those other guys back in the, I'd say, 50s and 60s and 70s.
Bartolo at 5 feet 11 inches is listed at 283 pounds.
You know, who cares what you look like if you go out there and you perform, and you can perform at a level like he has his whole career.
He played with Jim Bibby, right?
Yes.
Did Jim weigh? He might not have weighed 280 pounds. He was a
he was
big
about
dude.
as big as strong as you could get. He was about 6'5", 6'6". No, he didn't weigh 280.
The 1-2. Off back out of play.
One of the rare sliders from Bartolo right there to Napoli.
Mets jumped on him for a 5 spot in the top half of the inning. Tribe has a run in with a runner at second and 1 out. Another one. And Napoli just slaps it foul.
That's a good thing. Just foul something off to maybe he makes a mistake and it gets a good part of the plate. He's going to come back with another slider. So back-to-back sliders from Colon, which you would never think, but he's trying to get that out here. This is a big inning for him. But that's exactly what you have to do as that hitter. Good job by Napoli. And they already have, out of the 7 hits, I believe 4 of them have come when they've been down 1-2.
Well, remember, Napoli had the RBI single, sharp liner to left in the first. He almost killed David Wright with a hard smash to third.
Who made a tremendous
last
play.
time up.
Yeah, he took a hit away from him.
Another one, and he got him.
He never gave in, kept that battle, and wins it. 3 straight sliders. There you go. You haven't seen many going away from you if you're a right-handed hitter, but he stayed with it, and he wins the battle. Napoli goes down. 2nd straight strikeout for Cologne, 4 in the game. Be nice to get this run home from second, just to cut into that lead and cut it in half. Still a lot of ball game left.
And Carlos Santana, who has walked and flied out the batter. Santana 1 out of his last 18. Started promising with back-to-back hits, just as the second inning did. That inning in the second fizzled with no run scoring. They got 1 home here. Back-to-back strikeouts. And put this inning in jeopardy of going down the drain quickly. If Santana walks, Yan Gomes would be next.
Well, that's pretty much like his at-bat was back in that first inning. He ended up walking him after he hit that home run, and it doesn't look like, even though first base is open, he wants to give Santana much to hit, because he knows that 1 swing could be 2 runs. So I think he's just going to try and make that perfect pitch, or if Santana doesn't want to get too aggressive, then he may just put him on. But he'd have to go get Gomes the next.
Doesn't look like he's going to give him anything middle in to hit. Everything away.
Yeah, make him use a big part of the field.
And Santana chases after it, pops it up, and the inning is over. Tribe gets a run back on the double by Jason Kipnis. But after 5, it's 6-2 New York. Going to the 6th inning. Alejandro De Aza, Curtis Granderson, and David Wright due up for New York. Ross Detweiler came on the 5th, gave up a 2-run homer to Neil Walker, and got the final out of the inning. He'll stay on, at least to face De Aza and Granderson. We'll see if he stays on to see David Wright as well. Java Chamberlain up in the Indians' pen. Fair ball down the left field line. De Aza turning, going for 2. Here's the throw, too tall for Kipnis. And De Aza has a leadoff double. Game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 1-1 game in the 5th. And then Alejandro De Aza broke the tie with a solo homer. Then with 2 outs, Yoenis Cespedes hit a 2-run blast. 2 batters later, Neil Walker, a 2-run home run. And all 6 New York Mets runs tonight have come on the home run ball. 5 of the 6 2-out home runs.
Right.
Granderson 0 for 3 on the night. High pop. Lindor calling for it. One away. Now, whether or not the New York Mets have enough firepower to get back to the postseason and defend their NL crown is yet to be seen. Looks like Terry Francona will go to Java Chamberlain here, even though the Mets have the left-handed hitter Conforto on deck and first base open. He'll make the move with our score: New York 6, Cleveland 2. Takes on the Mets once again. Our coverage begins at 3:30 with Indians Live. First pitch at 4 right here on Sports Time Ohio. April in the OH is presented by Meyer. 1 on, 1 out. Java Chamberlain on the pitch for the Indians. And he'll be going up against David Wright, who's 1 for 3 on the night with a base hit. That came back in the 3rd inning.
Java coming on for the 3rd time. They're going to have to go through the big part of the order here. Try and keep it a 4-run ball game at 6-2.
Low and away. Ball 1 to David Wright. Get on the ground right at Kipnis. 2 down. And we'll bring up Michael Conforto, who is 2 for 3 on the night. Hit a homer in the first.
The batter for New York, Michael
And the
Conforto.
Mets have never trailed, officially anyway. They trailed for about a minute when it appeared that Carlos Santana had hit a tie-breaking home run. That was quickly overturned. Fastball missing for ball 1. Good pitch that time, inside corner. And it'll even a count of 1-1. Downstairs, 2 balls and a strike. Low. 3-1. White Sox and the Rays are scoreless. Did that say the 9th inning already? That can't be right, could it? I guess it could be. If they're scoreless, it could be in the 9th inning.
Well, yeah, it's 9:15. It was Chris Sale pitching for Chicago. I know that.
Chop to second base. Kipnis waits back on it and throws him out to end the inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. It's 6-2 New York. Inning. And the Indians will send Yan Gomes, Marlon Byrd, Juan Uribe to the plate. Two runs, 7 hits for the Indians, 6 runs, 11 hits for New York, but it's been the long ball for the Mets tonight. Gomes swings, bangs the first pitch to third base, and David Wright pulled him off the bag. Gomes is safe, and we'll see if the Indians can take care of that break to start the inning. An error by third baseman David Wright. His throw was just a little too wide of the mark. And even though Lucas Duda's a big target over there, he had to come off the bag to make the catch.
Yeah, he sure did. He couldn't keep his foot on the bag. He realized it. So he will take it off. And there's the start to this inning with an error to get him going.
New York Mets bullpen is busy. They've got a left-hander getting loose. Marlon Byrd, the batter. And he takes low ball 1. That'll leave it up in 1-1. Bird single, led off the second inning, was right back up the middle. Swings through that pitch. Left-hander ready, just about ready in that New York pen. Indians getting Trevor Bauer loose. That's outside. Bird not going to chase. And it's 2-2. Bartolo Colon gets another strikeout. That's number 5 on the night. Let's go down to Andre.
Well, with the career that Bartolo Colon has had, today I went around trying to talk to everybody that's been around here about their best Bartolo stories. Matt, I talked to you guys about the 61-pitch first inning. Also heard about his first start where he ended up getting phone calls all throughout the night and couldn't sleep before his first start. But one of the best ones came from fellow Dominican Danny Salazar, said when he grew up in the Dominican, he goes, he always wanted to grow up and be him for 2 reasons. He said, one, as soon as Bartolo made some money, he built a baseball complex on about 20 acres. He said, you always wanted that. He goes, the other legend, everyone told him he threw 104 miles an hour. He said, that's the guy I wanted to be growing up when I was in the Dominican.
Well, he's pretty darn close because he could throw it almost as hard, if not harder, than Bartolo did when he came up. And when Bartolo was a young kid, I was down there in the minor leagues coaching. You know, when he was coming up, he was a young, skinny kid that you were amazed at how hard he could throw.
Strike called, and it's 2-1. Uribe has singled both times up. One right back through the middle. The other one, he took it the other way. And Colon comes right back, evens the count, 2-2.
But you can see how it's a constant guessing game with him on what half of the plate you want to look for. Uribe went inside a couple of times. The last at bat, he's 2 for 2. You know, the first time he had a line drive up the middle, he had a little pitch he could handle, and he hit it up the middle. The second time, Colon was trying to sink it in on his hands, and he made a conscious effort to take an inside-out approach.
This is the second game in a row when you've seen a team warm up 2 left-handers at the same time. They've got Jerry Blevins and Antonio Bastardo both getting loose at the same time.
Does that bother you?
I've never seen that before.
Well, you haven't back-to-back series.
That is really strange.
All right, let me bring in the left-hander. They both come running in.
Well, Here's the 3-2 pitch now. Gomes at first, not running. And Uribe hammers it to left field. That'll get down. Conforto cuts it off before it gets to the wall. He's going to throw to second base. It's not in time. Ball squirts away, but Gomes will hold at third. And Juan Uribe with a double. And the Indians have runners at second and third with one out now.
Well, Conforto made he's going to go to the bullpen. Conforto made a mistake here. You're not going to get the guy going to third base, so you have to keep the double play in check. Get there, and if you see, he went to third first. That hesitation allowed Uribe to get him in scoring position. You always keep the double play in order. You're up 6-2. You don't want to let that. Who cares about the guy at third base? Give your pitcher an opportunity. Well, he didn't, and the Indians have second and third, so Colon's night is over after going 5 1/3. This inning started with the error.
One of the two lefties coming on for New York. It's Antonio Bastardo.
Still available and include 8 different plans. When you buy a prorated 20-game plan, you'll get up to 12 games for free. Visit Indians.com season tickets for more details.
Antonio Bastardo will come on for New York with second and third and only one out. And Jose Ramirez will pinch hit for the Indians for Tyler Naquin. Gomes, the runner at third base. Juan Uribe is at second. Only one out in the inning. Swung out and missed. This is the first pinch hit for Ramirez this year. And let's see, the third for the Indians.
Bastardo, a guy that's pitched in 60 or more games in 4 of the last 5 years. I remember him with Philadelphia. Signed a 2-year deal with the Mets in January. But boy, a couple of big runs out there for the Indians right now. Less than 2 outs.
Popped back out of play.
Ramirez 3 for 11 from the right side of the plate this year.
Struck him out. 2 down.
Stardo wasted no time, man. Came right at him. It looked like pretty much with fastballs, Matt. He went right there, started him 93-mile-an-hour fastball. I think he got a piece of it. Darno held on. So there's 2 outs. Now it's going to take a big 2-out base hit by Davis. Try and get a couple of runs in.
Well, Rajay is 1 for 3 on the night. Singled and scored his last time up. Sends a high fly ball to left. Conforto makes the catch. Another promising inning fizzles for Cleveland. 6-2 New York. Proud partner of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. And buy Ford. Built Ford tough. 6-2 our score in favor of the Mets. Rajay Davis moves from left field to center, and now Jose Ramirez is the left fielder. Can't see his head, but he's out there. Take my word for it. He's the mystery man. Yoenis Cespedes to lead off for New York. Oh, another vicious hit. That's all the way to the wall on 1 hop. That's his 3rd hit of the ball game. He has singled, homered, and now doubled.
Well, he played with Chamberlain over in Detroit. Boom, the first pitch, and he just smokes it to right center field on a fastball coming in. 12 hits now, and out comes Terry Francona. He's going to make a move. Chamberlain done now.
Trevor Bauer will be coming on for the Indians when we return to Progressive Field. It's New York 6, Cleveland 2. can now stream games live on your mobile device. Just go to your app store and download the free Fox Sports Go app. Log in and stream the Indians wherever you go. Trevor Bauer is the new Indians pitcher, making his 4th appearance on the year. He's worked 4 innings. He's given up 2 runs on 4 hits, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts. He'll be facing Lucas Duda. Duda singled and scored in the 5th inning. And Bauer fires his fastball in for a strike.
Cespedes with a 3-hit night standing on second base. The Mets with 12. Coming in, the best they have done to this point, they had a 9-hit game. You wouldn't be able to tell by that tonight. They're coming off an off day.
Is slicing and foul. Nice play with the glove.
Well, that's why you bring it to the ballpark right there.
Breaking ball, pull on the ground, it stays fair. And Napoli takes it himself, 1 away. Cespedes goes to 3rd. As promised earlier, it's Miller time. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Jackie Robinson Day, celebrated throughout Major League Baseball. It was on this day in 1947 that Jackie Robinson played in the big leagues for the very first time. And that video may be old and grainy, but if you want a pretty good depiction of the Jackie Robinson story, watch the movie 42. There are some scenes in that movie that are just flat out tough to watch, but pretty good portrayal of what he dealt with, what he had to overcome in order to play in the big leagues. I mean, some of the flat out ignorance is hard to watch in that movie, but
that's the way it was.
He overcame, and you know, I thought it was really interesting to hear the thoughts of Marlon Byrd, who said, you know, you look at the pictures of Jackie Robinson when he came into the big leagues and at the end of his career, how much it aged him. I don't think that was an accident. I mean, I think that just the stress and everything that he had to go through took its toll. 1-1 pitch, and Bauer finds the outside corner. Now the 1-2 pitch. Strikes him out. 2 down. Of course, it would be 28 years later that you would end up being part of baseball history because you had a chance to play for Frank Robinson.
Right.
Who was
In
baseball's
1975.
first African-American
Yes,
manager.
indeed. Who's getting inducted into the Indians Hall of Fame this year. Yeah.
Did you ever?
Well, you know, he was here, and Larry Doby was on the coaching staff like in '74.
Right before Frank
Right
took
before,
over?
yeah, Frank, he came over from the Angels.
Rick, by that time, I mean, did you ever hear derisive things said about Frank Robinson from either the crowd or other players or anything?
No, because they pretty much loved him because the opening day he hit a home run here, if you remember, and the crowd went nuts. But, you know, it was past that point where they could stay in hotels. We all stayed together. You know, you could all travel together. You didn't have to eat separately. I heard the stories,
Mudcat
and
Grant
that was a little before my time coming to the big leagues. When guys like Mudcat Grant, you know, back in the 50s and 60s, I mean, it was still around then, and it was different where you couldn't stay with it. I mean, Tito Francona, Terry's dad, was playing when all that was going on. So, you know, that's just a different time. You don't understand it if you've never been through it and lived through it. But it was different, but not as different as it should have been.
Dribble Cabrera hit by that pitch from Trevor Bauer, so he'll take his base first and third with 2 down. And we'll bring on Travis d'Arnaud.
Let's see, Bauer going to try and go inside with that fastball, and he doesn't get out of the way, and it catches him on the back arm.
And of course, you mentioned before you knew Larry Doby. Was he part of the coaching staff when you were playing?
When I was not in '75 and '74, when I was in spring training when he was coaching down there, and then he ended up going over to the Chicago White Sox and managing there. So, you know, and that was not far behind Frank. Exactly. It was a couple years after that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I sat around and have heard a lot of stories about it, and people that have been through it. Gary Bell and Mudcat Grant were actually very dear friends and roomies, and you know they told the story many times, and it's it's hard to believe, but it's come a long way, and it all started back in '47 when they did break the color barrier for the major leagues. But they just scratched the surface, and it took quite a while for it to take place. When Martin Luther King was, you know, going for the civil rights movement and everything that happened in the '60s.
And we just got done playing Tampa Bay, and the other day Chris Archer was pitching. Ground ball to short. And this will end the inning. Archer points out that still a long way to go. And in his mind, not enough black kids are playing baseball and involved in the game today. It's a 6-2 ball game. Stretch time here in Cleveland. bringing the lumber. And Jason Kipnis has swung the bat well. First time up, waited back nicely. Doubled off the wall and left, came around and scored the Indians' first run of the game. Then in the 5th, he drove in their second run of the night with a double over the head of center fielder Alejandro Diaz.
Yeah, they haven't been able to add on. They had a couple other innings. They had opportunities, but they couldn't add on after that. So it's still a 4-run ball game here going into the 7th. We saw where Bastardo came on. He ended up striking out Ramirez and getting Davis out at the 2 right-handers, but he's really tough on left-handers. Lefties on the year this year just 0 for 3 because it's so early. And in his career, left-handers hitting just 177 off him.
And a 1-ball, 1-strike count for Jason Kipnis. Kipnis now 4 runs driven in on the year, 3 doubles, has a home run to his credit as well. Kipnis bounces one to Neil Walker. 1 down. Well, Melky Cabrera singled in the 9th inning to plate the only run of the game as Chicago beat Tampa Bay 1-0, and Chris Sale goes to 3-0 on the year.
So he was in there for it all, huh? Well, at least in going into the 9th.
Let me see if he had the CG. He went 9, 2-hit shutout with 9 strikeouts, no walks. Francisco Lindor looks at a ball up high. Colorado Rockies stopped the Chicago Cubs' 5-game winning streak. Beat them 6-1 today in Wrigley.
And the Cubs have about 5 errors in that ball game.
I know they had at least one big one.
They had 4 errors in that game.
Lindor cuts and misses. Up and away. Yeah, Trevor Story went 0 for 5 in that game. And they still scored 6. And Lindor comes up empty, full count. Yeah, Chris Bryant, the third baseman for the Cubs, had 2 of those errors today for Chicago. The Astros lead the Tigers right now 1-0 in Houston. They're in the 6th inning. Dallas Keuchel spinning a shutout so far. Strike 3 call. Lindor can't believe it, but is down on strikes, looking for the second time tonight, and Terry Collins is going to go back to his bullpen.
Well, let's take a look at this pitch. He's going to go down, and he hasn't been calling that pitch tonight, but he calls it right there. And Lindor, there's not much you can do about that. Can't be pleased, but he thought it was low. Stardo did a good job in his 4 outs tonight.
And the New York Mets continue to stymie the Indians here. They lead it by a score of 6-2. Bristol Sunday starting at 12:30 Eastern, only on Fox, or you can watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Hansel Robles coming on now. We have 2 outs and the base is empty in the 7th. Play. A little bit low. To left and a base hit for Mike Napoli, and he'll turn and head for second base, and he'll go in standing with a 2-out double, his second hit of the night.
Second hit, 4th double for the Indians. Caught a breaking ball from Robles. He left it up a little bit. Mike Napoli kept his hands back enough and pulled it down into the corner. So a 2-out double now gives Santana an opportunity.
Carlos Santana looks at a ball down and in. He's 0 for 2 on the night. He walked in the first. He has flat out popped up since then. In tight, he missed. Carlos Santana trying to break out of his early season funk here. Take all the way 3-1.
Still early and can't panic. You can have a good series or a couple of good games in a row and be right back up there.
Takes another strike. It's a full count. Santana does have 6 RBIs on the year, and he's sitting on 399 runs batted in since 2011. That's 13th most
to hit right there
in the American League. Now the payoff pitch. And that's ball 4. Santana takes the free pass. Indians need some base runners. And up comes Yan Gomes. Gomes has struck out, grounded out, and reached on an error back in the 6th. And for Gomes, his first home run this year came off Chris Sale. He has picked up a hit in 4 of the 6 games he's started so far this year.
Well, they just need something, get some momentum going here. They get a 2-out base hit. They had opportunities back in the 5th and 6th inning. A couple guys aboard, they just weren't able to capitalize. They did in the 5th after the first 2 guys reached and they had a run in, but the next 3 guys sat down. They had a chance to whittle away this 4-run lead. They just need a hit here, get this crowd into it, move that line along.
2 quick strikes taken by Gomes. His crowd of 15,365 on a Friday night. Two on, 2 out, 0-2 pitch. And he strikes him out to end the inning. So once again, the Indians just can't get the big hit so far tonight. property of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. It's a 6-2 New York Mets lead as we go now to the 8th inning. It's in the dirt and all the way to the backstop, and somehow De Aza got out of the way.
Well, it was right at the feet. Tough to get out of the way of that. De Aza has had a good night.
Pop back out of play. Bauer doesn't get that call close. Just a little wide, 2-1. Not chasing. Trevor Bauer, the 3-1, pours a fastball in there. Full count. This one's in the air to left, but it's going to drop for a hit. De Aza with his 3rd straight hit in the ball game. He's a triple shy of the cycle. Home run power tonight. Michael Conforto in the 1st inning, a 2-out solo shot. Then the only home run that didn't come with 2 outs. A leadoff smash by De Aza in the 5th. And then with 2 outs, Cespedes goes deep. A 2-run shot 2 batters later. Walker does it, and that has been all of the Mets scoring here tonight.
Yeah. Showing a lot of power and coming into the game with 2 home runs as a team. Got Cespedes with 3 hits as well and needing a triple for the cycle.
And a fastball right at the knees for a strike. Swung out and missed. Nice change of pace that time.
The changeup from Bauer has been about 87 miles per hour. He's throwing this fastball at about 94.
Snap throw to first, but back with a dive is De Aza.
Again, as I mentioned earlier, when you look at the Mets and the shifts that the Indians defense puts on, it's always with the left-handers. It seems like tonight it's Granderson, and it's been Duda and also Walker when they shift. Everyone else has been pretty much straight away.
Anderson 0 for 4 on the night. And just 3 for 35 to start the year. Runner goes, and he pokes this one in the gap. On his way to third is Diaz. They'll wave him all the way around. Here's Kipnis' throw to the plate, and plenty of time, and they got it. Anderson with a single. He's still at first base.
Second outfield assist. And then Kipnis gets his second, throwing another guy out at home plate. He got him on the knee, Diaz, before he could tag home plate. Boy, that's being a little aggressive.
Tim Tuffle, you got the lead, so I guess you can afford to be aggressive in that situation, but I thought that was definitely a play where it was going to take some kind of a misplay.
But look where you're at in the lineup, and you had nobody out. You could have had first and third without,
that's what I'm saying. I don't know why. I mean, the way it was setting up, it was going to take some kind of a misplay for him to be able to score.
Because it never got to the gap. They cut it off. It was only a single.
Tim Tuffle played on that 86 Mets team, so maybe he was thinking back to those glory days. A lot of people have talked about that 86 Mets club. I think naturally any team that has success for the Mets is going to be compared to that group.
Oh, yes.
That won it all in 86.
Yeah, what a team they had.
I was reading something earlier. It was interesting talking about the Davey Johnson in spring training that year. Basically told his team, we're going to dominate. The Cardinals, they're done. We're going to run everybody down, and we're going to win. We're going to win big. And he planted the seeds from day one. Now, not that team needed any extra, because they had some confidence. They had those guys played with some swagger. But he made them truly. I think if there was any doubt, he removed it.
Well, they had some very good players when you go back and look at it now. Keith Hernandez was over at first. He's in the house tonight doing their television.
And Mookie Wilson, Gary Carter, Ray Knight. I forget Ray Knight was on that team. I think of him as being a Cincinnati Red, but he was on that club. Darryl Strawberry. Three-one pitch, swung on and missed, full count. David Wright, 1 out of 4 in the ball game. That Mets team had some tremendous pitching too. Ron Darling, Doc Gooden, Sid Fernandez. I think Sid was on the 86 team. Foul right back.
Came back with another high fastball that Wright was able to just get a piece of.
Yeah, Murph said Sid Fernandez went 16-6 in 86. Close, but no call. And so 2 on 1 out. Well, this was the play that will live forever.
Yeah, if you're a Mets fan, it sure is.
Mookie
The ground
Wilson
ball
up the line. Buckner can't get it. It's through his legs.
And there's Ray Knight.
Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
Went on to win Game 7.
And they were behind in Game 7. People forget about that. People think that Boston just folded up their tent. Well, and they had the lead in Game 7. They were up 3-0 going into the bottom of the 6th. And the Mets ended up winning that game, going away 8-5. Off the glove of Gomes. Granderson goes to third. David Wright to second.
I don't think that ball bounced, did it?
No, it hit his glove.
Yeah,
I think he was set
down
up
and
away.
in.
And
let's take a look here. It's down and in, and you're right. He had to reach back and go to the backhand side. It goes off the end of the catcher's mitt. Gave him a pass ball.
Left. Ramirez coming
Let's
in.
see if I don't think they'll send him here, even though Ramirez.
Tagging. He's not
That's
going
way
anywhere.
too shallow.
2 down. How about these names on that 86 Mets pitching staff? You had Ron Darling, Sid Fernandez, Doc Good, Roger McDowell, Bobby Ojeda, Jesse Orozco, and Rick Aguilera. That's pretty good bullpen, too.
Absolutely.
You were still playing at that time in '86, so maybe you didn't watch the playoffs. But I'll tell you what, that was a great playoff year. That '86 postseason. Mets played the Astros in the NLCS.
Wasn't there an extra inning game?
I think they're still playing.
Yeah, I think it was about 16 or 17 innings.
3, 6, 9, 12, 15,
16 innings.
16.
Yeah.
7-6. The Mets. That was the last game. Ground ball to short. And Lindor throws him out to end the inning. So Bauer keeps him off the board, dodges a few hits, and we'll go to the last half of the 8th. 6-2 New York. Now the Mets offense, which really had been struggling coming into tonight's game, broke out with the long ball. And the Indians just couldn't solve Bartolo Colon. They had hits, they had opportunities, but the big hit eluded them all night long.
Yes, it has. You're right. The one that left the ballpark would have given him the lead was reversed.
And it was all downhill after that.
After that, yes, it was.
Addison Reed on now for New York. I think that they made another change, but I'm not 100% sure. I saw Terry Collins going out and talking to the umpire. I think they put a new center fielder. They did. Juan Lagares. And what did they do with Diaz? They put him in left, so Conforto's out of the game. So Lagares is in center. Diaz goes to left. And Addison Reed is your new pitcher. Marlon Byrd will lead it off. He is 1 for 3 on the night, and he takes a called strike. Now the Washington Nationals about to run their win streak to 6 in a row. They're up 9-1. Swing and a miss. So the Mets trying to keep pace. And you know, a lot of people thought that Washington last year, for whatever reason, they just never got it going.
Right.
Everybody said, now this is the Nationals team that they were expecting.
Well,
will they keep it up?
You got Dusty Baker that has taken over there, and the big difference, you know, they got rid of Matt Williams. Dusty's on.
Anderson makes the catch in right field. The Indians, of course, will visit the nation's capital in a series against the Nationals. In fact, is that one of those 2-gamers?
No, we haven't. I think we have an off day. We go to. We may play 2 games, but we go from New York.
They come here for 2, and we go there for 2.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll see the Nationals 4 times this year, and again, they're going to be a handful. At least it would appear. Uribe sends a pop fly to right field. Granderson coming in and makes the catch. 2 quick outs.
Now batting for the Indians, Jose Ramirez.
Jose Ramirez struck out his only time up when he pinch hit for Tyler Naquin in the 6th inning. And he's quickly in the hole. 0-2 here. And he lines one to left center field. That's a base hit. So 1 on with 2 out as we go to the top of the order. And you know, the Indians offense has had some moments, but they get a game like tonight where they're just missing something. Maybe they're missing Michael Brantley. Let's go down to Andre. Any idea how long it'll be before we see Brantley?
I don't want to put a number of days on it, but he feels good, and I think that's a good thing because he played last night in Akron, came here and actually hit in batting practice with the guys, which excited him. He's going to play again tomorrow night. He'll take another day off or another day where he can get batting practice, and hopefully next week we probably will have a better idea when he can get back with the Indians, but they're probably going to have to get him to play 2 days in a row before they get him up here.
Yeah. Well, it's already the middle of April, so I think right now you're talking late month or late April or perhaps even early May, which is what the initial,
have to wait and see.
That's what the initial prognosis was.
You know, they brought him out. He played in spring training, and you know, the first game he hit a home run, threw a guy out at the plate. You're thinking, oh, all right, here we go. He's ready. And you have, I don't want to call it a setback, but you know, some stiffness, soreness, things that are normally happen after you have surgery. So, you know, it's good to see he's out there. He's here. He's going to be out playing again tomorrow. So the sooner they get him back, believe me, he'll lengthen that lineup out a little bit. It's tough not to have your best hitter hitting number 3 for you.
I suppose we've all been through it. Anybody that's played any kind of sports or athletics, you might come back from something, feel pretty good for a day, but baseball's every day, and he's got to be ready You know, he's got to be healthy enough to where he can play every single day. And he might be able to go out there.
Yeah, but when he comes back, you don't want to have him have a setback.
Right.
You need him for the rest of the year.
He's probably healthy enough where he can run out there and play, maybe hit a home run and throw a guy out of the plate. But then he might not be able to play for 2 or 3 days. And that's what you can't have. So they got to get him to that point. Davis goes down swinging. And the inning comes to a close. Still 6-2 New York.
Six to 2 over here at our set right next to the corner, along with Jensen Lewis. I'm Al Pulowski. Well, Jensen, tonight the story for the Mets, the long ball.
Yeah, they came in tonight with 2 total home runs. They hit 3 in 1 inning, 4 total tonight. That's really been the story. Cody Anderson really didn't look like himself. Mets had a pretty good attack plan against him. They executed.
All right, we'll take a look at this one as soon as the ball game's over. Talk more about those homers and more analysis too coming up on Indians Live, brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. That is following the game. For now, back upstairs to Matt and Rick. Fellas?
Jensen knows all too well you can't defend the ball that lands on the other side of the fence.
No, you got to keep it in the yard.
Indians go to Dan Otero here in the 9th. Otero's second appearance on the year. He's got Lucas Duda, Neil Walker, and his Jubal Cabrera due up.
Fourth reliever coming out of that Indians bullpen tonight after Cody Anderson went 4 2/3 innings, gave up 9 hits and 5 runs.
Chopped up the middle, and right there is Lindor with that shift on, throws him out. Our Pat O'Brien play of the game. The Neil Walker 2-out 2-run homer on the first pitch. Ross Detweiler threw. That was a killer, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they had hit a 2-run homer just prior to that to give themselves a 3-1 lead, and then they just added on. It's tough to come back from a 5-run inning. Now, it's not saying it's impossible because they had a lot of game left and they had opportunities, but they just couldn't get a hit when they needed one.
They came right back in the bottom of the inning.
Yes, they did.
Single, double, run in, runner in scoring position, and then punch out, pop up, inning over. That's the kind of the way the game is going.
But you know, when they put that 5 on the board, that they came back with 1, but they had an opportunity at 3. If you hit a couple ground balls, because they had a guy at second, nobody out with already 1 in. So I mean, it's things that you have to overcome if you're gonna come back from an inning like they gave up there. Again today, 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position.
Out of play. At Target Field in Minneapolis, the natives are getting restless. Angels lead it 4-2 as they go to the 8th inning. Minnesota in danger of starting 0-10 on the year.
Well, not what they envisioned, I'm sure, heading into spring training or coming out of it.
Ball in the dirt. Gomes will throw to first to complete the out. Atlanta will not start 0-10. They beat Miami, got their first win of the year. Circle K strikeout of the night. Got him Chase, and Gomes completes the put out. At the bottom of the zone. Out of play. Yeah, that game in which the Braves got their first win, the numbers sort of defy the logic. Atlanta committed 2 errors. They got out hit 12-8, but they win 6-3 somehow.
They're gonna have to keep making errors and get out hit. Sometimes you just never know.
Six runs, 14 hits for New York. They've committed 2 errors. They've left 10. 2 runs, 10 hits for the Indians, 1 error, and they've stranded 11. Did he go? Yes, he did, says Lance Barrett, and the inning is over. Scoreless inning for Dan Otero, and we go to the bottom of the 9th. Indians down 6-2. And the Indians will have their 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming to the plate. Jason Kipnis, Francisco Lindor, and Mike Napoli.
Addison Reed going back out for his 2nd inning. Gave up the hit to Ramirez. $4 game tomorrow here on Saturday. It's going to be Josh Tomlin finally getting a chance to make his first start of the 2016 season. He'll be matched up against Matt Harvey, the right-hander, who's 0-2 starting out this year with a 4.63 ERA. So I bet Josh's got to be chomping at the bit, huh? It's been quite a while. He was supposed to pitch at Chicago, and that's that Sunday. Got rained out and then got bumped after an off day when we went to Tampa.
Yeah, and I think he threw a sim game.
He did.
Like that in Tampa.
Well, we had Bird guys going up against him hitting, yes.
One thing you know about Josh, he'll offer no excuses. He's going to go out there. And
he's ready. He's chomping at the bit. He can't wait.
And there's Jason Kipnis saying, "We're not done yet here."
Watch Jason's third hit tonight. He's got 2 doubles and now a single.
And up comes Francisco Lindor, who's had a tough night. He's 0 for 4. Called out on strikes his last 2 times up. Also committed an error defensively. Swings at the first pitch, bloops it towards left field, and oh yeah.
Who
what
else?
A catch by Diaza. Why not?
Who else? Diaza with a great night. He's happy to see an Indians uniform again.
We looked at each other and said, "Oh, here's Alejandro Diaza."
I didn't even realize he was there until I saw his name on the roster. But you know, he's inserted in, starts in center field, gets 3 hits. Now he switches to left, ends up taking a hit away from Francisco Lindor, and it's been that kind of night for Lindor. As good as it's been for Diaz, it's been as bad for Lindor.
Yep. Now Mike Napoli looking for his 3rd hit of the night. If not for a terrific play at third base by David Wright back in the 2nd or 3rd inning, he would have 3 hits already.
No question.
Addison Reed came on and worked the scoreless 8th, gave up 1 hit. Napoli to center field, and Lagares makes the catch, 2 away. So up comes Carlos Santana. He's walked twice tonight. Sometimes when a hitter's not going well, you see him maybe get a couple of walks and think that could be a sign of getting it turned around. But with Santana, that's not necessarily the case because he walks so much. It's just normally a part of his overall game.
Well, his first walk, he'd certainly trade in for what happened. He hit a home run and it was overturned.
There's a fly ball, deep center. Back is Lagares. He's out of room. It's out of here. Carlos Santana with a 2-out, 2-run homer here in the 9th. Pulls the Indians to within 2 runs at 6-4.
Santana hits his 2nd. They finally get a long ball here, and it's out over the plate where he likes it, into right center field. That gets into the bullpen, pulls him a little bit closer, makes it 6-4. And now the move will be made. Reed comes back. He was going out for his 2nd inning. He had 2 outs, but gives up 2 hits in this inning.
We'll find out if Terry Collins is going to his closer Familia or if it's someone else. When we come back, 6-4 now our score in the 9th. 2 outs here in the ninth to get the Indians to within 6-4. And now Jeurys Familia will try to close it out for the Mets. He's 2 for 2. Already appearing in his 6th game of the season, and this is the 9th that the Mets have played. So he's pitched in 6 out of the 9 already.
Yeah, 5 2/3 scoreless this year. But now, you know, one last out. The Indians need a base runner to bring the tying run to the plate.
Yan Gomes is the batter. He is 0 for 4 on the night with a couple of strikeouts. That ball just disappeared. 93 miles an hour, and it was just diving straight down.
Well, he's got a huge moving fastball. I don't know if he can throw it straight.
Blowing away with that one, and it evens the count. Right back up the middle, Yan Gomes with a line drive to center field, his first hit of the year off a right-handed pitcher, and it will bring the tying run to the plate.
Yan Gomes, very good low ball hitter, and he stayed down that ball nicely. Takes it right back up the middle. The Indians now with 13 hits, but it brings the tying run to the plate.
And this guy's a pretty good low ball hitter from what I've seen so far, Marlon Byrd. You know, you've talked about he keeps those hands kind of low.
Yeah, they're down. Yeah, they are down. He likes that, but this one, he's got to be a little tougher for right-handers with the movement, but Gomes just showed you. He went down and hit one right back up the middle.
So we go right down to the wire here tonight with a tying run at the plate. And again, that ball just, I don't know what it looks like for the hitter, but it appears as though it's on the like the hitting plane, and then it just dives right down at the last moment. All the way to the backstop, and Gomes is in the scoring position. It'll be a wild pitch. We talked about the movement, and
that one
took his glove off.
Yeah, that one was a little bit away. It's tough to catch up to that one.
Well, they showed you the numbers. Byrd at least has some familiarity with Familia. A 1-1 in the dirt, and a nice backhanded stop.
Was it ever? Boy, that was way out in front, and he really, I mean, not that that run out there is not the tying run, it's at the plate, but boy, what a nice stop. He just almost slapped it just to keep it in front of him. Not much he could do on that one, but what a nice play.
Now the 2-1 pitch. Chopper foul. And we'll try it again.
Never an easy one, is it, Skipper?
No.
They went out there with a 4-run lead thinking, okay, I might be able to rest my closer tonight, but little did you know, with 2 outs, a home run comes off the bat of Carlos Santana. And you bring in your closer, and a base hit. There's always drama.
Veras Familia trying to close it out for New York. Marlon Byrd trying to keep it alive for the Indians. And now the 2-2. Broke his bat. Bloop to center. That's going to drop. Scoring is Gomes. It's a one-run game.
Well, there's a case, too, where you're playing that no doubles defense because the tying run is at the plate and the shattered bat. He hits it in front of him and it falls in, and now the tying run is on base. A home run here will win it. You can hear the bat just shatter. But when you're playing that deep, it's gonna fall. You see how deep he was out there? Lagares, no chance for him.
Colin Cowgill will pinch run now for Byrd at first base, and Juan Uribe steps to the plate. And he looks at a ball down low. He went off speed that time. Tying run at first, winning run at the plate. Uribe with 3 hits on the night, 2 singles and a double. Upstairs, 2-0. How many times have we seen a former Indian come back to Cleveland and do damage against the Tribe? Wouldn't it be something to see it happen the other way around?
Well, they are very deep again in the outfield. They're not going to let anybody score unless it is just right between somebody, and now he's got to worry about throwing a strike because you could put the tying run in scoring position here with 2 outs. 3 consecutive hits with 2 outs.
Jose Ramirez would be next. What do you think, Rick? Veteran hitter Uribe, 3-0 count.
Take. He's not going that good. Take it. You need base runners. Move it along.
Taking all the way, it's ball 4. And the tying run is in scoring position. Winning run down to first. And Dan Worthen, the pitching coach, is going out for a visit as the Indians, Rick, with 2 outs, have had 4 straight reach in the inning.
Yeah, and that tying run is on second, so it doesn't matter. Base hit's going to score him down as deep as the outfield's playing. So you're just Ramirez coming in, who came in 2 innings ago in the 8th inning, excuse me, in the 6th inning, had a chance to drive in a couple of runs. He struck out on a pinch hit appearance, had a single in the 8th with 2 outs, and now going to get another chance in the 9th. So he came out in the 6th. This is his 3rd at bat, and that tying run is just standing on second base.
Ramirez hit his first home run of the year down in Tampa. But it's that opposite field line drive approach that could serve him well here against Familia.
Well, that's why at second base, Cowgill has to get a good jump. With De Asa, he's playing a little shallower than anybody else.
The pitch. Low, ball 1.
And that's the thing right now. He just walked a rebound 4. You make him get in the strike zone. The pressure is on him. Don't think that you have to go up there and swing at everything. Wait your turn and make him get the ball off.
Now the 1-0 to Ramirez. Just did.
That's all right.
Zone.
That's okay. That one you liked right there.
He helped that one up to 96.
Ding.
Now the 1-1. High fly ball, left field. De Asa camps under it and makes the catch. Now the Indians gave it a game effort here in the 9th. They score 3. They cut it to a run. but they can't get the final hit to push them over the edge, and New York holds on to win it by a final score of 6-5. Bartolo Colon goes 5 1/3 innings and gets the victory here tonight to go to 1-1 on the year. Cody Anderson suffers his first loss. He's 0-1 as hitting his tag for 5 runs and 4 2/3 innings of work in the ball game. 15,365 the attendance. Boy, if the Indians could have just found a little more of that offense earlier in the game, might have been a different outcome. But they'll try again tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern time as Josh Tomlin will go for the Indians against Matt Harvey of the Mets.
Boy, that's why I say you just never know with the finish that they put on in this game. You know, wait for 2 outs, they score little. You know, when you get first and second, a run here or a run there always makes a difference if you can add on. I mean, they never quit. They made them bring in their closer. A game effort offensively, they just came up short, and unfortunately that's too bad. So they're going to have to come back and keep those same hitting shoes on tomorrow.
Indians fall to 4-4 now on the year. Mets go to 4-5 on the season. So that's it for tonight. We'll be back with you tomorrow afternoon, 4 o'clock, when the Indians continue the series against the New York Mets. For Rick Manning and Andre Knott, I'm Matt Underwood. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for Indians Live. It's coming up next.